say that.
There we go. We are live. Hello, 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 everybody. Hi. Just to introduce myself first, again, this is Aryan, and I'm coming to you live from Windsor, Ontario, Canada. It's November 23, 7 p.m. here. So, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're tuning in from. We'd love to know where you are watching this live or replay from. So, if you can comment down below, and then we'll see if we can flash it out in here later. So, I'm here tonight with a special guest. What is a special guest? Hello, everybody.
Hi.
This is Miles. So Miles is my son. He's 7 years old, and he's in grade
2.
2. Okay. So the topic, our topic for today, we're gonna talk about fear and how are we going to overcome the fear. I invited Miles to be here because he had this situation wherein he encountered I guess huge fear, massive fear for the very first time, and we'll talk about that later on. So after that, during this discussion, we're going to give you some practical tips on how you can overcome the fear and take control of your emotions. So just to add, and to introduce myself, I'm Aryan, and I'm a Filipina immigrant living here in Windsor, Ontario, Canada, together with my family, my husband, and my 2 kids. I have a 14-year-old and Max is 7 years old. And we came here in 2022. I was a programmer, an SAP programmer back in the Philippines. We came here in 2022, and I came here to study and then eventually landed multiple jobs. And right now I'm working as an IT analyst in a sales and distribution company and also doing this digital business. So later I'm going to invite you to register to watch our free info session. So, but right now we have to go through our discussion, get our discussion rolling. So yeah, so we're gonna start.
Yeah.
How do you want to start? Okay, so as I said, as I mentioned, Miles encountered this situation wherein he had this massive fear, and I watched him like go through that from being very very scared to going there in the arena and do it, still do it. So that was your first
My first taekwondo
tournament,
yeah.
and then you were really very scared about it.
Yeah.
So the day before, were you scared?
Yes.
The day before that, were you scared?
I was getting prepared. I was taking really deep breaths,
You practiced?
Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah, I did everything to see how if I could do good or.
And then during that day, that morning when you woke up, were you already like feeling very scared?
Yes.
How are you feeling then?
I was feeling like an anxiety or an anxiety attack.
But you weren't telling us. Like
Yeah.
you didn't tell us.
I had to keep it a secret because if you guys knew, you guys would probably be like, no, get out of your mind.
We weren't.
You weren't.
That was what
I had to keep a secret.
Yeah, so that was what you're thinking, right?
Yeah.
So he didn't tell us, and then he just went on that morning, and then we went to the car because it's an hour, more than an hour drive from where we're living at that time. And then while you're in the car, what were you thinking?
I was going. I was even closing my eyes.
It's like you can't breathe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was your heart pounding
Yes.
so much?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, I want to do this.
It's like you're catching your breath. Oh, you're thinking that you don't want to do it anymore.
Yeah, I don't.
Oh, okay, okay, fair enough. Um, so our first practical tip is to first name your fear. Were you able to name your fear?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I couldn't name it at that time.
Yeah,
I was
I
just
know.
so focused.
Yeah, because you were so scared.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then what happened? So when we got there, what happened?
Uh,
When we got there in the parking lot, I think this was what happened. So Miles was already almost in tears.
yeah.
And it's like he couldn't move. He couldn't go out of the car.
Yeah.
And then he started crying.
Yeah, and then I was like kind of shivering.
Yeah, right? You were
Yeah.
shivering. And then you said, I think I'm going to puke.
Yeah. That was like when I was 1 minute away. We had to like park somewhere else. It was like 30 more minutes until it started.
And then?
Then we had to wait. We were like in a small space.
Small parking lot?
Yeah. And then Daddy just was like holding me up. I was like,
So you went out of the car and Daddy went out of the car, and it's like the feeling, the emotions are all on you, and
Yeah.
then you started crying.
It's like Inside Out.
Yeah. It's like Inside Out.
Yeah.
And then you started to cry.
Yeah.
And then did you puke? Did you vomit?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, you did.
I
You
almost
did. Yeah.
I had a feeling. I was like,
It's like your tummy.
yeah. It was like filling off.
Yeah. Yeah. So Daddy went there, and then Daddy hugged you.
Yeah.
And then what did Daddy tell you though?
He told me, like, like like, think what you're gonna do. Like,
It's gonna be okay.
yeah, it's gonna be okay. You're gonna be fine.
Yeah. And then how did you feel then after
Like,
that?
I was hearing. I was like in happiness. I was like joyful and sadness.
At the same time.
Yeah.
Okay. Just because when Daddy hugged you, you felt like you're safe.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah. So the first tip that we have is to name your fear. The first thing is you have to acknowledge, because when he said that he wants to puke, I noticed right away that he's not at ease. And so I asked my husband to stop the car and then park it, and then take him outside. And then that's when it happened. He just hugged Miles and then told him that it's gonna be okay. And then when they came back inside the car, it's already done. Like he had calmed down, and maybe at that time he wasn't able to acknowledge the fear yet, because it was his first time to do that, to go to a tournament. But what's important is that you really have to acknowledge what you're afraid of, because unless you do that, or unless you write it down or say it out loud, and until you name it, you really name the fear, you won't be able to overcome it, because you won't be able to acknowledge it. You are not going to be aware what it is that you're feeling, and how are you going to resolve it, or how are you going to address it. So when you write it, when you name it, it becomes less abstract and it becomes more manageable. So for example, you can write down, I'm scared of starting my online business because it might fail, or because of something else, whatever your reason is, right? But it's all the same. Just acknowledge it, write it, and name it. And then once you do that, there are corresponding actions that you can take to resolve it, right? Right?
Yeah.
So the next one, the next practical tip is to break it down. So breaking it down is when you have to what you call this like so you've named your fear, right? And then you challenge yourself to make smaller actionable steps so that you can go through it with you can go through it with ease. So for example, if public speaking terrifies you, um, start you can start by practicing with a friend or maybe like this, right?
Yeah.
Because I know he's also nervous going live because he said earlier before we went live it's his first time
First
and he
time,
was like
yeah.
having this deep breath. Right? But
Yeah.
this is one of the actionable steps, small actionable steps that you can do to overcome that fear, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the second one. Actually, I also have a story about this. So, I told you the this is actually like an extension of what Kuya Joseph and I talked about last night. So, of course, I couldn't tell the whole story because it's gonna take too much of the time. But when I was again, was just a little background. So when I was like Miles, I joined my teacher joined me to a declamation contest, and I wasn't able to memorize. Oh no, I tried to memorize it, but when I went there in front of the judges, I was only able to deliver, I think, 3 to 4 sentences, just one stanza, and then after that I got mental block, and I wasn't able to finish it, and I dropped and I just walked out. So that was very. I mean, I think I was frustrated back then, guilty that I wasn't able to do it or finish it in there. But I think that was one of the traumas that I had when I was a kid, and that's the reason why I couldn't even raise my hand in a normal classroom setting. If I have to perform in front of the class or maybe just answer a question at the board, I couldn't even do that without my hands getting cold, without my body shaking, without feeling all of these feelings of being scared, right? So I carried all of those fears, even when I was in college, even right now, because I'm still working on it. But what I did was to break it down, as I said, to break it down into smaller pieces, actionable steps. So every time, so when I was when I started working, when they knew that I can sing, every time, every like I guess every Christmas party of the team of the project, they would always ask me to sing, just right in front of my colleagues.
What?
It's not a very big audience, unlike being on stage or speaking, like literally speaking in front of people, because I will do what I like to do, which is singing, right? But it's only a small audience. So every time that they're asking me to do that, I would always say yes. And I guess gradually, eventually, I was able to overcome the fear of performing in front of an audience. Well, not 100% or totally overcoming it, because I still get the chills before going up front and on stage. But at least it reduced that fear, that feeling of fear. So, and then eventually, when I got a chance to perform to a bigger crowd, I was able to do it. So that was number two, just to try to break it down to smaller pieces and then see if it can be an opportunity for you to grow yourself, to overcome the fear, because you've already acknowledged it, you already named it. And when you know what's the fear, or what's making you scared, then you can take small actionable steps. So, do you have an example for this?
Yeah, like when I was like performing my Christmas like singing thing when I was like
I remember,
when I
yeah.
was singing in school in front of all of the parents,
Yeah.
including you and
Were you
Daddy.
scared too at
Yeah,
that
I
time?
was very nervous.
You were very nervous, but you were able to overcome it. You still did it anyway,
Yeah,
right?
and I didn't remember all of the singing. I like skipped like a word or two.
Because you were too nervous.
Yeah,
But after that, how did you feel? After you did it?
I felt like how did I do that?
Yeah, right?
Yeah, and also when I was performing in front of you guys,
Mm-hmm.
I felt like I'm gonna make you guys proud.
Of course, when you do that, because you're trying to overcome your fear, your own fear, right?
Yeah.
All right. So, and then the next step would be to visualize success. So instead of focusing on what could go wrong, picture the best possible outcome. So this is kind of a visualization. If you know how to meditate, try to do that as well. Just so you can calm down, and then you try to visualize yourself to shift your mindset from anxiety to confidence. So I know that if it's going to be your first time to try to overcome that fear, it's going to be very difficult, very very difficult, really. I feel you because I've been there. But one example here is that imagine how it would feel to finally be your own bosses. Just like what's the example earlier? Like if you are too afraid to start your own online business, imagine how would it feel to finally be your own boss and spend more time with your kids, right? It's gonna be rewarding for you, and you're gonna have a very positive feeling when you imagine that, when you try to visualize that. So you try to visualize the outcome and the successful outcome, not just an outcome, but a successful outcome. So have you tried that? Have you tried visualizing?
I mean, like I've tried to meditate before, like of
Visualizing?
visualizing. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've tried to meditate.
What did it do for you?
It calmed me down.
Yeah, it's calming, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And when you're calm, you can perform better.
Yeah, it felt like the right thing to do.
The right thing. Okay. All right. So yeah. So the when the big moment came to me when I had to perform in front of a company Christmas party, I didn't really like sit down and be serious about visualizing me as a winner, because the only thing that was in my mind during that time is to just perform well, just to do my best and perform well and make the people happy, because I know that my colleagues, they were supporting me during that time, and I just don't want to make any mistake. That's it. But I didn't really visualize that I'm gonna be a winner, or I can get the first place or something like that. But it's also kind of visualizing the success, because to me, that is success. If I go there and didn't make any mistake because I practiced, I did my hard work, and that also counts, right?
Yeah.
Because it's also successful. Just because for me, after that time, I already have improved. I've already grown myself because I was able to at least overcome another fear.
That's also a tip. Like do your best. Try
Yeah,
to perform well.
yeah, that's right. Okay, and then number 4, take small risks daily. So we live every day, right? There are everyday tasks that we have to do, especially if you're working or if you have a business. We have to do daily tasks. But if you are trying to overcome a fear, just try to take everything that you have to face and make it as an I mean see it as an opportunity for you to grow yourself, to improve yourself. So the more you face small fears, the more you build courage. Yeah,
You
right.
can improve your brain.
Your brain.
Your brain.
Yeah, you can improve your brain, like rewiring your brain, right? So each small win, so it says here, each small rewires your brain to handle fear better. Because if it comes again in another time or in the future, you know how to handle it, right?
Yeah.
So do you think you're gonna be scared again in another tournament? Or when you join another tournament in the
No.
future, do you think you'd be, well, it's okay to be scared, but do you think you'll be scared the same way that you got scared during your first tournament?
Probably not, because I've already experienced it.
Yeah, right. Because you know how to handle it better. If probably you made a mistake during the first time, then you know you need to practice more.
You can like take deep breaths and try it again.
Right, correct. That's right. So there. So for example, if you're having if your fear is to speak in public or speak up in a meeting.
Like
so,
this.
so yeah, like this in a go live, or you are scared to post your first video online. Those are actually just small ones, because actually in a go live you don't even have to look into an audience, right? To look into a physical audience.
The audience looks at you.
Yeah, right, right. But you can't see them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
So,
don't know the people that's looking.
yeah.
Like,
So this is actually one of the small, let's say, risk or a small opportunity for you to speak up and try it and see how it goes, even if it feels uncomfortable. So when I did this the first time, because I'm not really comfortable in front of the camera as well, and I'm not really very good in speaking in public, especially when it's pure English, because I'm Filipino, right? Um, it really takes time to wire my brain to do it. So I still did it anyway, because eventually I knew that I have to, because I'm in this digital business, right? And this is actually one of the ways on how we can improve the reach and say market our digital business, right? So these are small risks that we can take daily, so that we can face those fears and finally overcome it. So how about you? What do you do? I know you are not as afraid like me when you are inside the classroom, right?
I'm not that afraid anymore.
Anymore, right?
Yeah. Just like what you were talking about, I overcame it.
Yeah. So when you're in the classroom, you can confidently say, "I want to answer." You
Yeah,
right? You're
yeah.
confidently say,
Yeah,
"You
I
want to raise your
always
hand."
do that.
Yeah. Might be too much already.
I always like raise my hand like,
Yeah.
can I ask a question? I ask so much questions.
I know you're a curious little guy. Okay. All right. So the last tip that we have is to lean on faith and support. Yeah. So fear shrinks when you trust in something bigger than yourself, be it God, the universe, or your community, or however you call it. Share your fears with someone who uplifts you. So now what I'm doing actually is to always whenever I encounter these things, whenever I feel something new, I feel when I encounter or experience these fears, and then I try to overcome it, and then after that, I feel that it's a learning point for me and for the family or for my kids. I always tell them the story, right?
Yeah, you always do. You're a storyteller.
Oh, I'm a storyteller. Okay, that's good. Do you like it though?
Yeah. Since it's real life, since it's like a true story,
Yeah,
I kind of like,
learn something.
yeah,
Yeah, you like it because
it like tells me, like, if you're teaching me something, if you're telling me something,
Mm.
or if you're doing something bad in that,
Mm.
I know how to like
Handle it.
handle it. Yeah, or avoid it.
Avoid it. Okay. That's great. So there. So for example, you just lean on faith, right? So you pray for guidance. You reach out to, if you have a community, you reach out to your business community for encouragement. You know your people, right? So if there are people around you who trusts you, tries to encourage you, lean on to them. Try to like go to them and then confess, oh, I fear this, but I'm trying my best to overcome it, and things like that. And then you just release it, right? And then you surrender to God, to the universe, whatever it is that you want to accomplish, and just pray, right?
It's like God is your boss.
God is your boss. Or maybe God is your protector. You're gonna be safe.
Protector. Yeah.
Yeah. So whatever it is, whatever fear that you're facing, there's God to support you, to protect you, right?
Yeah. Of
Right.
course, He supports you.
Yeah, of course He supports
He's the
you.
first one alive.
Yeah.
Are
So
you technically a very
what? Considerate, understanding person
yeah, or he's a very
or
important
entity. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's almighty.
What's an entity?
Yeah, so just pray, have faith, and try to look into the other side of the wall or other side of the coin, whatever it is. Because however you're going to face this, on the other side, there's a better you that you're gonna see because you've already improved, right? So yeah, there. Just the key is taking action, small steps. So even if it's just one tiny step, just go do it. Go try to overcome your fear. Once you've acknowledged it, once you're aware of it, you try to, when you write it, you try to put their how things on how ways or things on how to resolve it. And then every opportunity that will come your way, you try to use that to improve yourself and to overcome that fear.
Okay.
So yeah.
Yeah, you can visualize on like how to close your eyes.
Yeah.
And take deep breaths. Or also you can visualize that you're talking to God. Like
Yeah. Right.
yeah.
So just to summarize, so here are 5 practical tips to overcome your fear and take control of your emotions. Number 1,
Name your fear.
number 2,
Break it down.
number 3,
Visualize success.
number 4,
Take small risks daily.
and number 5,
Lean
on faith and support. So that's it from us, folks. And oh, if you are interested again, to check out our digital business, so we work on ourselves, overcoming the fears, and being better digital business owners or CEOs, digital business partners. So all of these things we're trying to work on ourselves. So if you also want to check what we offer, the digital business package, and what we have in our inside our community, just register in my website down below. Oh, well, below. It's ariangale.com, and just go enter your full name and valid email address. Just make sure it's valid, because I'm gonna send you a link to the info session, and also a replay, and then the next simple steps that we're going to take, so you can also have an idea what this digital business is about. So that's it from us, folks, and good night. Good night here from Windsor, Canada. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening.
I have one more thing to say.
For the rest of the world, okay, one more thing to say.
You could comment down below if like more tips
If you want more tips.
Yeah.
If they want more tips.
If you
Or
want more
maybe,
tips, or you
or
can
maybe,
send more tips.
yeah, or
I don't
maybe
know.
if you want Miles to be my guest again.
Yeah.
Do you want? All right, that's it from us, folks. Good night, everyone. Have a great day for the rest of the world. Bye. See you again soon.